The book of Galatians contains a list of traits: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, as one of the most famous passages in the New Testament. But we have been reading it through a lens that entirely misses a detail hiding in plain sight. We tend to treat these 9 traits like a spiritual to-do list. We pick the ones we are naturally good at and try to white-knuckle our way through the ones we are not, attempting to force ourselves into being better people. Trying to manufacture patience or kindness through sheer willpower is like tying plastic fruit to a dead branch. From a distance, it looks quite impressive. Up close, you realize it doesn't feed anyone, and it takes an exhausting amount of energy to sustain the performance. The Apostle Paul never actually wrote about the fruits of the Spirit. In original Greek, the word karpos is strictly singular. When singular, growth changes. It ceases to be assembling separate behaviors, becoming a single, unified life, one cluster with 9 grapes, sharing one sap. To see why Paul made that specific word choice, we have to look at the crisis he was facing in AD 49. A group of teachers had arrived in Galatia, telling new believers that simple faith in Jesus was insufficient. They argued that to truly belong, these Christians needed to add strict Jewish law and manufactured human effort to their lives. Paul counters this by setting up a sharp contrast right before his famous list. He describes the works of the flesh, and here the Greek word for works, erga, is intentionally plural. Self-reliance produces fragmented results. You can pick and choose your vices. A person can be envious without being a drunkard. It's a chaotic, disconnected system. But Spirit-produced holiness operates differently. God doesn't produce patience without kindness. Sharing the same root, they always grow together. Human effort produces works. The Spirit produces an entirely different category of life, one that grows on its own rather than being manufactured through gritted teeth. You can see this life take shape internally through the original language. Paul starts with agape, a decisional, active love. He moves to kara, a settled gladness rooted in God rather than passing circumstances. And then irene, where a person's inner broken pieces are stitched back into wholeness. That inner wholeness organically turns outward. It becomes makrothumia, the active restraint of retaliation, and Christotes, a costly, practical kindness. Finally, it manifests as agathothuni, moral excellence expressed by actually doing good. Curious, this isn't a behavioral metric for human self-improvement. If you line up these 9 qualities, you have to ask, who does this perfectly integrated list of traits actually describe? Only one historical figure fits every part of this list. Jesus is the only human who exercised perfect love, patience, and self-control under ultimate pressure. The Holy Spirit reproduces the singular life of Jesus inside a person, moving far beyond a simple character upgrade. This dynamic is what Jesus was explaining on the night before his crucifixion. As he walked with his disciples toward the Garden of Gethsemane, he gave them a profound metaphor rooted in the landscape. He told them, "I am the vine, you are the branches." He used the Greek word meno, which means to abide or remain. A branch never strains to produce grapes. It simply remains attached, allowing the vine's sap to flow through it. The branch's job is to remain connected. In that same conversation, Jesus mentions that the vine dresser prunes the branches that are actually bearing fruit. When God cuts things away in your life, it is the vine dresser pouring concentrated energy into a healthy branch to multiply its yield. Because it is organic, real spiritual growth is seasonal. It ripens unevenly, requiring long, dormant winters before erupting in spring. For anyone burning out trying to squeeze joy out of a tank that is entirely dry, John 15 provides a reason to stop straining. You produce by remaining, not by trying harder. This leads to the quiet punchline at the end of Paul's list. Against such there is no law. When the Spirit produces this unified character inside you, you fulfill everything the external rules were trying to force. Love does not murder. Faithfulness does not commit adultery. Manufactured effort looks impressive from a distance, but strong winds will blow it away. Organic fruit grows slowly and quietly, but it is actually alive. Jesus explains that this fruit serves a purpose that extends past personal change. He said, "By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit." The Spirit grows this fruit so that when impossible patience and unexplainable peace show up in a chaotic world,